Okay, so this is chapter 1.7, absolute value equations and inequalities, day one. Pardon my um, smart board is acting up here a little bit, but we can get through it here. So this is day one. So the thing we need to understand is that when you take the absolute value of a number, the outcome is always positive. So when you talk about a variable, we don't know if it's positive or negative. So if the number inside here is positive, you take the absolute value, your answer is going to be the same as your number that was on the inside. That's if A is a positive number. If A is a negative number, then your answer is the opposite value. So it's going to be a positive outcome. So for example, if I have the square root of 3, my answer is 3, the same as my number on the inside. If I'm taking the absolute value of negative 3, my answer is the opposite of that, so my answer is 3. Main thing that we know is that our answer is always positive when it comes out of the absolute value. The inside is either positive or negative, and you could have the same outcome. Okay? Now, looking at solving an absolute value, we have this example, and we have 2x minus 5 is equal to 3. This thing is going to be annoying. I can't get it to be a... I can't get it off of here. Okay, now let's try this. Okay, there we go. All right. So when I'm looking at this example, absolute value of 2x minus 5 is equal to 3. When I'm going to solve, I'm going to split up the absolute value equation into two equations. One for the positive, one for the negative. Because inside of this absolute value, just like I showed up here with my absolute value of 3 equal to positive 3 or negative 3 is negative 3, I could have negative 3 or positive 3 inside the absolute value to have an outcome of 3. So what I want to do is I want to account for either positive 3 or negative 3. So I'm going to have 2x minus 5 equals 3, or I'm going to have 2x minus 5 equals negative 3. And then I'm going to solve this. So add 5 to both sides. I will get 2x equals 8, and then I divide by 2 to get x equals 4. When I go to solve over here, I am going to add 5 to both sides. I will get 2x equals 2, and then I divide by 2 to get x equals 1. So I have two possible answers, x equals 4 or x equals 1. All right, looking into another example. If we have this example to solve, 3 times the absolute value of x minus 7 plus 5 equals 14. We don't just have the absolute value here. We have other things on the outside that are affecting this problem. So what we need to do is we need to isolate the absolute value part of this equation by subtracting the 5 and dividing by 3. So I'm going to subtract 5. That gives me 3 times the absolute value of x minus 7 equals 9. And then I will divide by 3, and I will get the absolute value of x minus 7 equals 3. Now, you're not always going to equal 3. But again, the inside here could be either positive 3 or negative 3. So I'm going to set x minus 7 equal to 3, and I'm going to set x minus 7 equal to negative 3. So I'm going to add 7 to both sides, and I will get x equals 10. When I add 7 over here, I will get x equals 4. So I have x equals 10 or x equals 4. So anytime I have numbers on the outside of the absolute value, I need to make sure I um, solve and get the absolute value part of the equation all by itself. Now, whenever I am working with an absolute value, when I get down to the point where I have an absolute value all by itself, if I get a negative number over here, then I know my answer is going to be no solutions. Because I can never, ever, ever take the absolute value and end up to be a negative number. So if I ever get a negative value at the end, when I have absolute value set equal to the number, if that's a negative number, it is no solutions. Let's look at this problem. We have to solve the absolute value of 2x plus 1 equal to the absolute value of x plus 5. Basically, what we want to do is we want to take and more or less just look at the one of these two absolute value expressions and set it equal to either the positive or negative value of the other expression. So I'm going to focus on the 2x plus 1. And inside of here, I could either have positive x plus 5 or negative x plus 5. Okay, and that will give me the positive value of x plus 5. So I'm going to take 2x plus 1 and set that equal to x plus 5. The other equation I'm going to write is 2x plus 1 equal to the negative value of x plus 5. When I'm over here on the left and I'm going to solve this, I'm just going to solve this like any regular equation. I'm going to get x's on one side and numbers on the other. So I will subtract the x, and that will give me x. I will subtract the 1 from the left-hand side, and I will get 4. So x will equal 4. Over here, I need to distribute that negative. So I have 2x minus 1 equals negative x minus 5. So again, I'm going to get x's on one side, so I'm going to add x over here to give me 3x, and I'm going to add the 1, and that gives me negative 4. Now I have to divide by the 3, and I get x is equal to negative 4 thirds. So I have x equals 4 or x equals negative 4 thirds. And those are my solutions. Okay, generally speaking, you're going to get two solutions to your inequality, your absolute value absolute value equations. If I have an absolute value equation equal to 0, I will only have one solution. If I have an absolute value equation equal to a negative number, as I stated up above, I will have no solutions. Sorry. Okay, so now this is done. Oh my goodness.